All right, guys, just when you think it couldn't get worse for old slow Joe when it comes to this Afghanistan disaster, it just does. As the establishment basically leaked a bombshell phone call that Biden had with the Afghan presidency, in which he basically told the Afghan president, listen, you need to create the perception that the Taliban isn't winning, right? You need to look a little bit better on the world stage, because if you don't, if it looks like the Taliban is taking back over the country again, that's gonna create problems for me, right? That's gonna make me look bad. This is not good for me politically. So I need you to go out here and lie, right? He literally told him to lie. He said, whether it's true or not, right? Again, this comes at a time where a lot of people are just not thinking highly of the president. Okay, the honeymoon that the president had with the media is over, and now that they're actually covering him fairly, people are starting to see the fraud that Joe Biden really is. Okay, the man is just not cut out for the job. He's not. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the details of this leak, okay, that surely came from the establishment. President Biden pressured Afghan President Ashraf Ghani to create the perception that the Taliban weren't winning, quote, whether it's true or not. In a phone call just 3 weeks before the insurgents seized control of the country, a bombshell leak transcript shows. Biden and Ghani spoke for roughly 14 minutes on July 23rd in what would be their final call before the Taliban overran the government and Afghanistan descended into bloody chaos amid the botched U.S. withdrawal, according to a transcript and audio leaked by Reuters. Much of the call was focused on what Biden referred to as the Afghan government's perception issue. Okay, basically our puppet government, right? I mean, because that's essentially what it is. Okay, it's a government that we back. It's the government that we want. Okay, our government essentially, or the government of Afghanistan, they had a perception issue, right? They was looking a little bit too weak for Biden's taste. Quote, I need not tell you the perception around the world and in parts of Afghanistan, I believe, is that things are not going well in terms of the fight against the Taliban, said Biden. And there is a need, whether it's true or not, there is a need to project a different picture. So basically he's saying, bro, you need to go out here and lie. Lie for me, okay? Lie, right? Lie. That's what he's saying. And I thought this is the type of stuff that you get impeached over, right? Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats set the precedent that for phone calls like this, right, when you're using your political office to, you know, try to get favors, okay? Try to get favors done for you. Then I thought you can be impeached, right? This definitely sounds like an impeachable phone call to me. I'm just saying. I mean, if you throw that in with all the other stuff, and you remember the Democrats set the precedent for that too, that it can't just be one thing, okay? That's what they did with Trump. They said, well, we're impeaching Trump not just for, you know, what happened on January 6th, but, you know, there's also some other stuff in there as well, okay, that we have to throw in there. Just, we're impeaching Trump for all the things that we didn't like, okay? That's kind of how they do it, right? So Biden here needs to be impeached for not only his handling of this Afghanistan crisis and his phone call basically telling this man to lie to the world to make him look good, but also for how he's wrecked the economy, right? And the crisis at the southern border. There's plenty of things that they should consider impeaching Biden over. I'm just saying, okay? I'm generally not for easy impeachments. I'm not. But again, that precedent was set under Trump, and I think it's imperative that the Republican Party, at the very least, comes out here and puts the perception in people's mind that Joe Biden needs to be removed, okay? Obviously, they're not going to be able to impeach him because they have a Democrat majority, right? But they got to set the idea in people's heads that, hey, this guy should not be in office, right? Because that's what the Democrats did when it came to Trump, okay? That's what they did, right? They made it clear from the get-go as soon as Trump was in office that he shouldn't be there, right? He's illegitimate. That's what they did, okay? Now, speaking of Trump and the Democrats and phone calls, right? Jen Psaki was actually asked by the media what the White House's official take is on this leaked phone call. Take a look.
There's some reporting that we'd like to confirm regarding a call in July, between President Biden and former Afghanistan President Ghani. One, that both leaders appeared completely unaware that the Taliban would take over, and secondly, that they discussed plans to project that Afghan forces were still in control. Is that accurate? Can you tell us a little bit more about that call?
Well, I'm not going to get into private diplomatic conversations or leaked transcripts of phone calls.
All right, guys, so as you see that, now all of a sudden Jen Psaki doesn't want to address leaked phone calls. But back when this was going on the Trump and the Ukraine thing, she was all for it, right? She was all for it. She was all for talking about it. Again, guys, this is what I try to tell you about the Democrats, right? They're just for playing for their own team. And the worst part is that the Biden administration thinks that the American people are stupid and they don't realize this. However, the American people do realize this, and because they realize this, they want Biden to be removed, which we're going to get into later on in this video. However, I want to read a little bit more about what Biden said because it's actually kind of hilarious and sad at the same time. At the time, the Taliban had already seized about half of the country's district centers and was only weeks away from taking Kabul on August 15th. Biden told Ghani that Afghanistan's prominent political figures, including former Afghan President Hamid Karzai, should give a joint press conference that backed a new military strategy on how to defeat the Taliban, saying, quote, that will change perception and that will change an awful lot, I think. Wait, so what Biden is saying is that, well, although the Taliban is overrunning your army right now, if you guys go out there and say that you have a new military strategy, that's going to change what people think, even though we can all see that you're losing your country. Biden is delusional, man. He is absolutely delusional. He says, quote, I'm not a military guy. I think that's obvious that you're not a military guy, Biden. So I'm not telling you what the plan should precisely look like. You're going to get not only more help, but you're going to get a perception that is going to change in terms of how our allies and folks here in the United States and other places think you're doing. So Biden's admitting what everybody knows, that yes, you're not a military guy because of how you botched the withdrawal in the first place. We all know that. Biden also heaped praise on Afghan security forces that were trained and funded by the U.S. before dissolving in a matter of weeks amid the U.S. withdrawal, and offered aid if Ghani could publicly put out a plan that showed he could control this spiraling situation. Wait, so Biden's saying, listen, we will give you some money, right, some aid, if you could come out here and make it look like there's not a disaster happening right now. Bruh, does anybody believe if Trump was in this situation right now, right? If he had did what Biden did, which I don't think he would have done, anybody believe that the Democrats wouldn't be calling for impeachment? I think they would. I think they would. Quote, you clearly have the best military, Biden said. You have 300,000 well-armed forces versus 70, 80,000, and they're clearly capable of fighting well. Oh my God. This dude's just wrong on everything. Apparently, I was reading about how that 300,000 number is not even like a real number, right? Like most of those soldiers, there was high turnover and they weren't trained well. Okay. They only had like maybe 30,000 or so like well-trained military soldiers in that army. Okay. That's what the New York Times was saying. So that 300,000 number that Biden keeps throwing out there, apparently that's kind of BS. Quote, we will continue to provide close air support if we know what the plan is, and all the way through the end of August, and who knows what after that. Obviously, that didn't happen. In addition to that, we're going to continue to fight hard diplomatically, politically, economically to make sure your government not only survives, but is sustained and grows, because it's clearly in the interest of the people of Afghanistan that you succeed and you lead. Bruh, Biden got this whole thing wrong, right? He got the whole thing wrong. Okay? None of this happened the way he said. Yes, Biden, you're clearly not a military guy, right? And phone calls like this, guys, clearly shows that Biden's incompetent. He has no clue what the hell is going on, and he should be removed. And the American people are not stupid, okay? The American people realize that Biden should be removed, as there's a new poll that came out for Rasmussen that shows that a majority of voters say Biden should resign over botched Afghanistan withdrawal. So let's read here. A majority of voters believe President Biden should resign over his administration's botched withdrawal from Afghanistan, a Robinson Report survey released Wednesday found. The report asked respondents, quote, should President Joe Biden resign because of the way the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan was handled? Overall, a majority, or 52%, said yes, Biden should resign, while 39% said he should not. Opinions over Biden resigning are sharply divided among party lines, as 3/4 of Republicans say he should, a sentiment held by nearly 1/3 of Democrats, 32%, and a plurality of independents, 48%. Guys, that's a big deal. That's a big deal, right? Like, I mean, you have 32% of Democrats, a third of Democrats, people who voted for Biden saying that he should resign over Afghanistan. That's a big deal. That's huge. I mean, the way this article is framing it, they're saying 60% of Democrats, however, say Biden should not resign. Yeah, but the point of politics is that, of course, a majority of Democrats are going to say Biden should stay in office. They voted for him, right? They're going to lean more with him. Of course, they're going to say he should stay, right? The question is, how many of those people say that he should resign? You have a third of Democrats saying Biden should resign, in a plurality of independents, 48%. Almost half of independents, right? If an election was held today, guys, there's no doubt in my mind that Biden would lose, right? There's no doubt in my mind. If an election was held today against almost any GOP candidate, again, like I said, you could throw Lindsey Graham out there, Biden would lose. He would lose. So, and this is why I try to tell you that it's important for the Republican Party, from a strategic standpoint, to keep the pressure on Biden, right? In regards to saying, oh, no, maybe he should be impeached. Yes, we know that he's not actually going to get impeached. But, you know, people like Mitch McConnell have come out and said, oh, no, he's not getting impeached. He's not going anywhere. And in my opinion, I just don't really like that. The reason why is because the Democrats spent all this time setting this low precedent for impeachment. Yes, you know that you're not actually going to impeach him, but you want to put in the minds of American people that the man should not be in office, right? That he should be removed, okay? And that the only reason he's not being removed is because there is a Democrat majority, right? That's what you want. So, you know, like I said, the Biden administration, bro, I mean, is over, right? It's essentially over at this point. The Democrats are screwed. At this point, most people want Biden to be removed from office, right? And a third of Democrats. Of those people, a lot of those people don't have confidence in Kamala. The Democrats are going to have to run somebody else in 2024, right? Like, they're going to have to. They're going to have to run a candidate besides Biden or Kamala in 2024. Guys, we might have a full-blown primary season come 2024. We might. At this point, Biden's not a viable candidate. He's done. I don't see how he recovers from this. Now, the media might try to help him recover. But, I mean, guys, the reason why that phone call transcript was released was because the establishment hates the fact that Biden decided to withdraw from Afghanistan. Also, the media is going after Biden because they hate the fact that he withdrew from Afghanistan. At that point, guys, what Biden did could be an unforgivable sin for the establishment. So it could be one of those cases where you see the media, which is establishment, just continue to start to go after Biden because they're like, because you did this, because you basically stabbed us in the back, because you did something we didn't want you to do. Hey, we're just going to continue to go after you negatively. So I don't know. Right? I mean, it could easily be the case that they also start kissing his butt again. That could very much happen. I'm just saying, Biden's fate moving forward in the future will probably be determined by how the media responds after this whole Afghanistan thing is over. Right? If they start kissing his butt again, maybe he can recover. If not, this dude is done. Right? Most likely he's done either way. But I'm just saying, media coverage moving forward here is going to be very, very, very important to watch in regards to Biden's viability in 2024. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.